Hi, this is David Moskowitz here with Membership Academy. In this video, I wanted to talk to you about the importance and the power of split testing elements on your sales copy, on your landing page, or any other element where you have a Buy Now button or an Add to Cart button. Now, I can't stress enough the importance of continually testing these different elements, and it's actually something that I sometimes neglect. But recently I was looking for an app for my new Android phone, and I came upon this site called Blue Lightning. And what they're doing is they're actually selling an iPhone app. Unfortunately, they don't have an Android version, but they do have an iPhone app for this particular product. And I found on their blog, the developer of this app is actually talking about split testing Buy Now links within the app when he moves people from the free version to the paid version. So this was some real interesting information, and it kind of reminded me of the importance of doing different types of split testing. Now, he had some really good results here, and I'm going to give you the link to this on this page. But what's important here is the fact that he's taking the time to split test, which a lot of people don't bother doing, and I'd actually be very surprised if a lot of app developers, individual app developers I should say, are doing this. And what's also important about this is that you're applying the knowledge that you have in one area to another area. For example, we know that we need to be split testing our buy buttons on our landing pages, but how many of you actually think about doing it in your iPhone apps or even on your Facebook fan pages? You should be doing this as well. So I just wanted to go over some of the data that he actually accumulated here. So what he was doing was, within his app, he moves people from a free application to a paid application, and he has a couple of different buttons to do that. And unfortunately on this page he doesn't display those buttons, and I don't have an iPhone, I have an Android phone, so I can't show you what those buttons look like, but he does explain what they are. He has a buy button, a buy now button, a get more button, and a just more button. And each of these create different results, which I'm going to show you right here. I've actually done some of the math on this as well. So we're going to assume that he sells all the premiums for $1.99, for $1.99, and that's going to give us these different actual numbers that are bought, because he doesn't actually go into any explanation of that on the page, so I thought that I would use that information. So to start with, he has the buy button, and I'll move it down here so we can see it a little bit better. So to start with, he has the buy button, which has 3,768 clicks and generates $1,640 in sales. Now, if we use this $1.99 as the base here, we see that we had 824 of the apps bought, and that gave him a buy ratio on the button of a 0.21%. Now, that doesn't actually count the number of impressions that are made, so I don't know what the actual conversion from impressions to click button to actually buy is. But what he's done is he's actually measured how many people click on the buy button to how many people actually complete the purchase, which is really interesting. And that's really the power of what he's doing here, is this simple move from clicking the buy to actually completing the purchase. In other words, what percentage are abandoning the cart partway through, and that's a real good number to measure as well. So you can see here that his buy people, the people who click on the buy button, actually complete the transaction more often. They're completing it almost twice the number of times that someone who clicks on the more button is completing it. However, and what's really important here, and this is also assuming that he has the same number of impressions, which he doesn't mention, or at least I didn't notice him mentioning that he has the same number of impressions for all these different buttons, is that the more button is actually getting clicked more often, and that's in turn generating much more revenue. So you can see here he had a 824 bought versus 1100 bought. So he's having about a 30 to 40% increase in revenue simply by changing it from a buy button to a more button. Now his abandonment has shot up, but his overall dollar volume has increased. And I think that that's what we really are going for at the end of the day, is the actual transaction dollar amount that's coming through. Yeah, you're going to get more people clicking and abandoning, but who cares? At the end of the day, it's about the amount of money that you're putting in your bank account that's important. So some elements which you should definitely be testing on your own landing page. And again, if we transfer this idea of split testing back to our landing pages, without a doubt, your headline, I've tested this on my own site. I've tested a blue headline versus a red headline. And I found for this particular site, this particular market here, this is my Membership Academy site, that red works better. Another element that you're going to be wanting to be testing is your buy button, which is what we discussed for that app here. But in this case, this is my buy button on my landing page. You should be testing this. Different colors. I recently heard Ryan Deiss talking about using orange versus using blue or using red. Red tells people to stop. Orange seems to grab people's attention and get them to move it. And one of the things that I know that is popular is this button here. It's called a Belcher button, named after Perry Belcher, the guy who created it. And what this is an orange button, and it's encased in this red area here. And I believe that this is just a CSS code to encase it. And for premium members, I'm going to be doing a video very shortly on how to use Google Optimizer to split test your landing page and split test your buttons, and I'll go ahead and give you the code to create this orange or this red outline here. But supposedly this is the best type of button to use on your site. I have actually tested when I was selling CDs in Japan. I actually tested a couple of different buttons. I tested an add to cart button and a buy now carton, and actually the add to cart worked better than my buy now button. So I'm going to agree with this here that add to cart probably is going to work better than a buy button. On my own site, I believe a couple of years ago I tested a buy button versus a yes I'm ready to start button, and the yes I'm ready to start button performed better. So again, these are all different elements which you should be testing. It's always good to get back to these basic ideas, to get back to A/B split testing. You might want to do what's called a multivariant test, which means you're testing multiple elements on the same page. And Optimizer, Google Optimizer, I believe, will allow you to do that as well. However, to keep things simple, I would suggest you just start with testing one element at a time. Test your headline for a little while, see how that produces, see how that changes your results. Then go ahead and test the Buy Now button or the Add to Cart button that you're going to change it to. See how that does. So these little incremental changes have an exponential effect on your margins and on your cash flow. So these type of changes can change your site from being a site that loses money to one that breaks even, one that breaks even to one that's profitable, one that's profitable to one that's highly profitable. So I would really recommend that you go ahead and start split testing as soon as you can. And again, another important aspect of this is to not forget that what we apply in one area, you can apply this to your sales page, yes, but you can also apply it to your fan page. And if you are developing apps, you can also apply it to your apps as well. So in the next video that I'm going to make for premium members, it's going to be on how to use the Google Website Optimizer with your A-member site, and also how to use it with your wishlist site. So if you're not a premium member yet, go ahead and sign up for premium membership and get access to those videos. Thank you very much, and good luck with your membership site.